Okay, let me start with this quote. With this quote, they say a government that is big enough to give you everything you need is also big enough to take from you everything you have. The federal government itself is becoming. A government has no business in business other than to bring economic policies for a business to try. Go to America, for instance. The economy is led by individuals. Check Forbes list. You see that maybe the top 10 are all Americans. When are we also going to develop our human capacity to ensure that we have companies that are capable enough to even be bigger than the government itself? Look at what Dangote is putting in Lekki, the refinery out there. What if we have about 100 Dangotes in Nigeria doing the same thing? We have some rich guys also that are doing almost the same thing. But what if we increase this number? Government will not even be worried about fixing the road. Someone can just feel, okay, this Lagos about that express road, Lagos, federal government, please don't worry yourself about it. I will do it. Just give me tax intensive for 10 years or what have you. Yeah. So before you know it, government will be totally out of business.
Would the government be willing to give such tax incentives? So
that is what we're saying, that government should even reduce its power, should shed off some powers. Let even give this power, let this power go to private sector. Okay, you can just look at it that, okay, do you have anybody that can do this part of this road, Lagos or express road?
But you are forgetting something. You are forgetting that we are still a feudal system. People still have to be put down so that we can have servants. So we don't want to empower everybody.
This is what we are saying, that they should shed off this mentality of
we're still feudal.
I want to. How many roads will federal government by itself do? Let's just look at
it. Maybe tie in this one. I read somewhere yesterday where the government is looking to borrow about 2.5 or thereabout $1 billion from the World Bank for the power sector. But then some investors are willing to bring in over $5 billion into the NIPP projects. So I was having an argument with my wife. I said, government wants to borrow 2 point something for the power sector.
We don't need to borrow.
Investors are offering 5 point something for the power sector. So which do you think the government will go for?
I think that ties into what he was talking about. I think I started it, the private sector-led growth. I think that is what we need. I have a friend who wrote something on Business Day the other day, private sector. Okay, what we need is an economy driven by the private sector. Government's role should just be regulation of the economy. I wrote something again, which I've taken a lot of flags on that, on what I called Federal Republic of Dangote in my article 2 weeks ago. Now, I wasn't critical of Dangote because we are talking about elite entrepreneurship, and that is what he's showing. Okay? Like he said, people like Dangote are moving this economy. Really. Okay? Because if you look at it in the commodities business, in cement, in everything, okay, Dangote is very active and he's performing in creating jobs, creating the services that government has failed to do. But my challenge is we need to have some kind of competition policy, which is the regulation that government needs to bring into place. Okay, because we need to have equal playing field. Okay, for people, for business. That is very, very important to move the economy forward. So it is important to have the private sector-led growth. And again, talking about private investors willing to bring in $5 billion into the power sector, and government going to borrow money from the World Bank. Now we are talking about public-private partnership. Some years back, that was making the rounds, and everybody wanted to. Actually, we do training on public-private partnership at the Lagos Business School. And then we have the Infrastructure Concession and Regulatory Commission in Abuja that is supposed to regulate PPPs. Okay, and then they are doing their job, but somewhere along the line, we've seen that no PPP, especially at the federal government level, except in places like housing, seem to have worked because the regulatory framework isn't there, and then the sanctity of contract is not respected in Nigeria. So that is giving very negative signals to investors and people who will be interested in public-private partnership. Of course, without public-private partnership, there is no way that we can have the $10 billion investment that is required over the next 10 years in this system. So that is very, very important. So government, again, we talk about government. Now, the real problem with the government, why these things don't seem to happen, is institution. There is something else I engaged with in my article some time ago, which I call, well, some researchers at Harvard, they call it what they call isomorphic mimicry. We have institutions that pretend to function like similar institutions in other climes. For instance, you have, say, the judiciary. Okay? Yeah, now the judiciary is like the judiciary, set up the judiciary in the United States. But does it function? Does it do exactly what the judiciary does in the United States?
No.
Then we have the legislature, the system. Okay? Now, in appearance, in form, it looks like the same institution other places in the world, but it does do the same thing. So that is exactly what we have here. Now, look at you here at Channels TV. You are the best television station in Nigeria going for more than 10 years now, okay? Because you are doing what you're supposed to do. You are functioning. Now, the problem we have here is that we have institutions, but they are not functioning. They are not functioning. So we may have budgets, but the implementation capability, the capability to execute, is what is lacking. And it's all a very complex mix of problems.
Okay. We need to wind down now. Education plus health amounts to 11 billion naira, and National Assembly alone collects 125 billion. What a nation. So says Okunsanya Adewale. But go back to education. Emmanuel Okpala says Nigerian universities course content are obsolete. Courses do not address comparability. But he says he's in Luxembourg. He's watching from Luxembourg. He says he did his first degree in Nigeria and knew nothing about practicals until he got to Luxembourg. He says most university lecturers are not fit for purpose. The selection criteria is marred with corruption, so wrong people are chosen. Now that seems to apply to other systems. What should we do with our 2017 budget in order to get us to where we ought to go to?
In closing,
10 seconds.
The real attention, the 100% attention should not be given to the budget in terms of, okay, this is the way out. This is the only instrument that will take us out of this place. Let's empower individuals. Because according to what McGregor Mankiw in his 10 tenets of economics says, he says competition will make everybody better. Make individual. Imagine we have about 100 Dangotes doing what Dangote is doing now. Number one is competition will drag down the price. Competition will bring out innovation and
5 seconds.
Well, what he was saying, that's Greg Mankiw. Trade makes everyone better off. That's the 10 principles of economics. For me, education.
Okay.
Education.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Dr. Bongo Adi, lecturer, Lagos Business School, and economic analyst Oladotum Abinori. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back with another interesting conversation.